Right, welcome to another lesson in high school ICT. In today's lesson I want to show you how we create columns and just one or two tips when creating a column. So I've gone and created some text for myself, and I just want to show you this. If you press equals rand and you say, for example, 2, 2, this is going to give me two sentences per paragraph and two paragraphs. Click enter and here you can see I've got one sentence, full stop, second sentence, there's my one paragraph, and here is my second paragraph. So over here I've got three paragraphs. So I typed in equals rand 3, 3 and I got the 3. Okay, so right, so that's, if you want some text that you want to practice with, that's the quickest way of creating text yourself. Good. First thing to keep in mind is to ensure that you have your hide show button toggled so that you can see where your paragraphs, where new paragraphs start. Remember, when you click enter each time you have this little sign that looks like a music note. That is your or that's the sign that indicates that you've clicked enter to create a new paragraph. Remember, I also said that what you don't want is to click enter in order to go into a new line. You'd rather click shift enter, and that is what we call a soft enter, and then you just keep typing on the same line. And in a previous video I explained about align and paragraph spacing. Right, so let's just Control Z to undo what we've done. Okay. Now you might ask, why is it important to have my hide and show on? Well, when you're going to select your text that you want to convert into paragraphs, you don't want to take the enter button, because then that's going to create or show, say, right, welcome to a new lesson with high school ICT. In today's lesson I want to look at how we convert text into columns, and the first thing that you want to have toggled is your hide show, so that you can see where your paragraphs or where the new paragraph starts. Remember that when you click the enter key it creates a new paragraph, and you can see I've created a couple of empty paragraphs. And remember, if you want to go onto a new line within the same paragraph, you're going to click shift enter. That's going to create a soft enter, which will then allow you to go onto a new line. So over here I've got three paragraphs, and just something extra, if you type rand or equals rand and you type 2, 2 for example, and you click enter, you can see that it then gives you text to practice with. That gives you two sentences per paragraph, and here I've got two paragraphs. Over here I typed in equals rand 3, 3, and I got three paragraphs with three sentences in each paragraph. Okay, so I'm going to take that out and go back. Right, you might ask, why do I need to have my hide show button toggled? The reason for that is you want to see where your paragraph ends, so that when you highlight the text to create the columns, if I highlight these two paragraphs and I make two columns, if I take the enter key that was clicked, then it's going to throw it out, because then it's seeing that I want to have three columns, or three paragraphs rather, which I don't want. I want two paragraphs put into two columns. Okay. Right, so I'm going to go to my layout button. I'm going to click that, and I'm going to go to my page setup grouping, and you can see here's your button called columns. Click on that, and you can choose 1, 2, 3, left, right, etc. but we're going to click on more columns, and then we can choose either 2 or 3. Again, the same that we saw when we clicked on the drop down arrow. And you can also click on the spin arrow over here to choose how many columns you want. And then you can actually set the width and the spacing between the columns, and you can also have a line that separates the two columns. You can choose to have it equal width, and you can choose from this point forward again, or whole document, which is sort of a standard option that you have. So I'm going to create, first of all, just the 2 columns. So I'm going to highlight, and when I highlight, I take my cursor past my enter key and I bring it back so that I get the 2 paragraphs. I don't want to take the enter key that created this 3rd paragraph. I'm going to click columns, click more columns. I could choose 2 over here, 3, etc., or you can choose with the spin arrow, and I'm going to have a line in between, and I'm going to click OK. And here is my 2 columns. Let's make 3 columns. Right, I'm going to highlight my text to create 3 columns. Once again, I go past the enter key and I bring it back, so I only get the wording that is within my 3 columns. And I'm going to choose more columns, and I could choose 3 at this stage. Click OK, and it's popped it into 3 columns. Okay. What I want to do is to take this bit of the 2nd paragraph, and I want to put it into the 2nd column. So I'm going to put my cursor at the beginning of 2, and I'm going to go again to my page setup grouping, go to breaks, and then I'm going to choose column break. Now before I do that, what you could do is you could click enter and push this down, but now it's created more paragraphs over here, which is what I don't want. Okay, so that is why I use column breaks, because what starts to happen is when you start to move text, when you start to move text around, then part of your 2nd paragraph, which you wanted in your 2nd column, starts to move to the 3rd column, and then formatting becomes a little bit of a headache. So let's undo. What I'm going to do is to demonstrate that I'm going to put some headings in, and then we see how our paragraphs change with headings, moving them into the different columns. Alright, so I've gone and created my 3 paragraphs again, and I've given them each a heading. Once again, I'm going to select my 3 paragraphs, go past the enter key, bring it back, and allows me to take all the wording, formatting, etc. that is within the 3 paragraphs. Go to my columns, which is in my page setup, more columns, and I want 3. I'm going to use the spin, and let's put a line in between. Click OK. Alright, so I want this heading to sit on my 2nd column. I go to breaks, I go to column break, and now it's put it into 2, and I want it in 3, so I'm going to take my cursor, put it at my 3rd heading of my 3rd paragraph. Again, go to breaks, click column break, and now you can see it's neatly gone and placed the 3 paragraphs in 3 columns, and the headings are at the top. As easy as that. So go and practice that. Remember to keep in mind what you would be asked in the exam is possibly they would ask you to set a specific width and spacing, and the other thing that usually gets asked is that you put a line in between as well. Great. In the next video we will look at page breaks, section breaks, etc. We did use the one over here with column breaks. I'm going to explain to you how section breaks and page breaks work, etc., and creating pages so that we can change the orientation from landscape to portrait.